G'day my voters, lovely to be with you. Going to spend a few minutes just getting you up to speed on all the stuff that's happening in the movement at the moment, and believe me, there is a ton. It's almost like we don't sleep or need to sleep at this point. Let me run you through from the top to the bottom. First of all, as many of you know, Vote 4 will close shortly. Housing Vote, still there. VoteFibers just launched. It's up, it's available to vote. We're talking about campaign finance. Interestingly for MiVote, this was the first policy vote that we've put out where the people have determined what the issue was. So when we went out to the public, to you guys, and said, what do you want to talk about, rather than just the list of policy ideas that we had, campaign finance was overwhelmingly the most popular thing that people wanted to have a conversation about, and now you can vote on it. So please do, we'd love to hear your voice, which will obviously, if we get 60%, determine policy. Some exciting news. You'll see a press release out in the next couple of days, but I'll give you just a little bit of a heads up. We've been working on a relationship with the United Nations. As many of you know, when we were last there in New York a couple of weeks ago, we started talking about the creation of a UN SDG, which are the Sustainable Development Goals, an app so that voters around the world can start telling the United Nations which initiatives within each of those goals they would like the UN to be spending their time and energy and resources on. So it's a really fantastic way to engage a community again in a not-for-profit sense that has great global benefit. So we're super excited about that. Press release will be out soon, and you should expect to see that UN Sustainability Goal app in the next couple of months. Together with that, there was a project called Blockchain for Impact, which is another United Nations initiative. The Horizon State Tech spin-out that came out of MiVote has been invited to become part of Blockchain for Impact, which is really exciting for us. MiVote has just been invited into it as well, which are basically a group of organisations who are using technology to benefit humanity in really impactful ways that have mass benefits. So not just looking at a voting mechanism in a city or a county or a state, but rather how do you start addressing poverty or energy issues or whatever the case may be in that blockchain technology distributed ledger environment. So that's a terribly exciting project, and in particular Jamie Skeller at Horizon State has done a brilliant job of started building those relationships and having an impact there. We'd also like to congratulate our friends at Horizon State for their ICO, which closed yesterday. So the ICO was open for about 12 days. I think they raised 1.3 million Australian dollars in that period of time, which is terribly exciting. And what we have now learnt is that they have so much interest in the VC market who are really seeing this as a huge solution. So bravo to you. They got tremendous feedback from all the investment sites and the crypto sites and Forbes and Huffington Post, and well done everybody there. And the great news for us as MiVoters is that the more money they get, the greater the technology they can build, which helps us run the campaigns that we want to run and integrate into the political systems as we want to. The next thing, campaign runs. Let me just very quickly give you a heads up. So right now what I can tell you is that we're in the process of building MiVote Western Australia. There will be candidates and parties running in New South Wales. We have candidates and parties in Victoria that we know are running. We have at least a couple of representatives in federal Australian politics, at least 2 US congressmen running next year in June in San Diego, and an entire chapter starting MiVote Iowa, who we'll be seeing again in a couple of weeks in the US. Terribly exciting, the impact that could have on the 2020 election. In addition, we're in negotiations in New Zealand and in Italy, and MiVote is genuinely spreading. People are intending to run. We are going to start seeing impact in elections very, very soon. In addition to those things, we have a partnership, or we're in partnership with SAP's new Innovation Lab. So they've created a not-for-profit so that they can work for us, but the Innovation Lab is basically a space where new ideas that can impact the world in positive ways. There are all sorts of different organisations and NGOs who are part of that group, and it was wonderful to be there in New York and see the MiVote logo on the wall, which I didn't know was there, so that was a nice surprise. I think I posted that picture. We've got a couple of upcoming events, so people who want to watch the live streams or attend if you're in the local markets. On December 13, we'll be speaking at Stanford University. On New Year's Eve, yes, I'm a masochist, New Year's Eve, there is the global live-streamed Integral Life Conference. Headquartered out of Colorado, but I think there's 6,000 to 8,000 people around the world who will be watching that event, and will be one of the keynotes in that event, talking about systemic change to politics, which is really exciting. For those of you in Australia who have Foxtel or can access Foxtel, Sky News interview live next Monday, 8 p.m. on the Beattie and Newman show. So that will be our first live television opportunity. And let me just say, it's going to be worth watching. Finally, some of the big projects, we've been invited by the UK Cabinet to meet with them and talk about the way that we can have assist them in engagement with constituency. Hamish, our head of policy and research, co-founder, has met with the Canadian Cabinet recently. We've been invited to meet with the President of Afghanistan, with Horizon State guys. We're speaking to a major party in Romania, a former Prime Minister of Romania at the moment. And probably most excitingly, and I won't go into too much detail, other than to say there is a city in Holland who is currently looking with us, exploring, and we'll continue these conversations later in the week, to run the entire city, all the decisions of the city, through the MiVote model. That would be more than spectacular and well ahead of the game of where we want to be, but we'll continue those conversations in the hope that we can make some magic like that happen and give to the people in that particular town in Holland an opportunity to take control of all the decisions that happen in their lives. So as you can see, there's lots and lots going on. We also have an Indiegogo campaign and an amazing, rip-snorting Facebook game that's about to be launched in the next couple of days called Democratise Me. I'm not going to tell you anything else other than that, so stay tuned for that release, and there'll be lots of stuff. You'll see lots of media about that. There's just tons going on, so stick with us, write whenever you need to, stay involved. We want to hear your suggestions, and I hope to hear from you soon. Peace out.